everybody. Welcome to Champ Chatter. Let me get into a segment here. Old school, let me throw it back. My computer's all sorts of fucking up. There we go. So I think the matchups here are so this guy wins, I think that guy, I think this, and I think this one too, there. Well, if you didn't understand, that was a shot at Bruce for his wax segment. It was a shot at Bruce. So anybody, welcome to Champ Chatter. This is what we've been waiting for, folks. The Final Four. Almost the Final Four you expected. The top three plus Scott, who's proven that in fantasy, all you have to do is have the better lineup than the opponent. Overall tallies do not matter. As long as your team beats the other, that's it. That's all that matters. And today I will be talking about the Final Four. And that's it. So sorry, Moan and company. You guys, you can close the video right now. I won't be talking about you. Well, you know how every other year the AFC Championship or the NFC Championship is dubbed the true Super Bowl. Well, this year that's me and Bruce. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I'm not a big fan of what Yahoo does and their projections, but what they're doing right now, they projected Bruce to beat me 120 to 113. That's the highest projection total I've seen in weeks. That's pretty good. Me and Bruce are peaking at the right time. We have the two hottest backs in fantasy. He has Forsett. I have C.J. Anderson. I've been looking at this matchup. I have C.J. and Peyton Manning. I imagine one of those guys is going to be deep in the 20s. If I can get both, I'm in good shape. The Bronco boys playing the 4 p.m. for you guys, the 1 p.m. game for me. It's going to be crucial. Because later in the season, you get more 10 a.m. games, you get more 1 p.m. games for you guys. So in fantasy-wise, it's crucial to have the 4 p.m., 1 p.m. for me. Those guys, they get you points later on. It's like scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It's more important, I feel. It's all psychological, but I feel like scoring more points later is better. That was a big waste of time. I basically just said, yeah, points are good, but score them later. Yeah, whatever. Talking about the matchups, I had a tough time this week picking my wide receivers. For the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been playing 3 receivers. I've been playing a receiver as my slot because of the pickup of Odell Beckham. He's been on fire. I've really been Odell Beckham, Josh Gordon, Randall Cobb, and Mike Evans. 4 receivers. I only have 3 slots for them. In Bruce's video, he said I was going to pick between Latavius Murray and Jonathan Stewart. Those two put me in a very difficult situation. I would rather have a running back in my flex, but I think those 4 receivers are too hot. I have to ride 3 of them. So, what I'm saying is I had a tough time picking them this week. I settled for Josh Gordon, because I love what Manziel has to offer. Odell Beckham, because he's hot as shit, and he'll make one-handed catches and score me touchdowns. And my third receiver, Randall Cobb, because Bruce has Aaron Rodgers, and every touchdown Bruce throws, hopefully Cobb can balance that out. I feel if I were to play the matchups, I would play Mike Evans instead of Randall Cobb, but I would feel like a big piece of shit if Cobb scores a touchdown and Bruce beats me by 7 or 8 when I could have closed the gap and played Randall Cobb. And Randall Cobb's a must play every week. He was my third round pick. I gotta ride him. On to Bruce's team. Bruce had a tough decision. I was looking at wide receiver, and believe it or not, his kicker position. Cody Parkey's been killing it lately, but Stephen Hauschka is playing the 49ers. Let me tell you about the Niners. They're pretty bad. Made the Raiders look like they could be NFL champs. Like, they looked really bad. I hope the Raiders move to LA. Give me a little excitement in my life. If the Raiders play like that every week, I hope they come to LA. I'll go to every game. I'll be a season ticket holder for the Raiders if they can play like that. My winner of this matchup is too tough to call right now. I'm going to have to tell you at the end of the segment. You're going to have to wait the extra, 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to keep it brief because I'm not going to be talking about Mullen versus Pratik, whatever the fuck is going on in that matchup. No one cares. Are they playing for cash money? No. The only consolation matchup I will really care about is Pembroke Zuck. Because, no, I probably won't care about that. But, whatever. Alex versus Scott. Bruce brought it up. 3 weeks ago, I would have given Alex the W with no explanation. But this week, it's real tough. The matchup could come down to the tight end position. Whom Scott? Or who Scott? I don't really know how to use that. I mean, I have an English degree, but I'm not sure whether to use whom or who. That's a silly word. Whom. I feel like a dirtbag saying that. Whom Scott has 2 of. Larry Donnell, and Jimmy Graham, who might get him facing up. My brother Alex has Jordan Cameron. Either can explode, as we've seen. Either can also put up a goose egg, like we saw with Jimmy Graham last week. I'm very pro Manziel. I think Jordan Cameron gets the ball. I mean, at Texas A&M, Manziel was very Mike Evans happy. He threw to him about every play. But in the NFL, teams adjust much better than they do in the SEC. I think Manziel's going to feed Josh Gordon to start. Hopefully for me. Hopefully Josh Gordon gets a couple touchdowns in. But then once the Bengals start to realize that, he's lobbing it up to Josh Gordon, they're going to triple cover him, throw safety on him. And I think that's going to free up Jordan Cameron. But the tough part about this is Jimmy Graham's in the spotlight on prime time. I love a good player playing prime time. They always step it up. I think he's going to score a touchdown. And Donnell, we won't worry about Donnell. Whatever. He'll get 4 points. Cool. I also think, as I was talking about prime time, I think Scott has the psychological advantage. Having the chance to win it on Monday night always instills confidence in me. He has Drew Brees, quarterback, Jimmy Graham, the tight end, and Marcus Colton, the wide receiver. Alex has nothing. If Scott's 40 points down going into Monday night, I could see him pulling it out. Alex needs a substantial lead going into Monday night. So what are my predictions, fellas? It's going to happen. I beat Bruce. DeMarco. I feel like the theme of my show today is prime time. DeMarco Murray's playing Sunday night against the Eagles. I like him. Peyton in the warm weather in San Diego. Last week Peyton Manning scored 2 points. I feel like it's very difficult to get Peyton in single digits back-to-back weeks. I think he's back to his 25-point form, maybe even 30. I think Joe Hayden gets me a pick 6 for that Cleveland defense. He always has A.J. Green's number in Cincinnati, and I'm hoping he can turn that into a touchdown. If Cleveland can get me 10 points on defense, I'd be grateful forever. On the other hand, Bruce, I think Bruce is going to be really disappointed with Marquise Wilson. Marquise Wilson is going to get him 0 points. I honestly respect the move by Bruce. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy scores 2 touchdowns. But God, if I were to give out my ballsiest play of the week, I would give it to Bruce. A guy who has 4 points all year. I mean, that just freaks me on the playoffs. The guy could go off. Brandon Marshall's hurt. Alshon Jeffrey's not all he can be. And the Bears are playing a shitty defense, I believe. The Bears are playing New Orleans Monday night. A very shitty defense. Okay. Marquise Wilson could go off, but in fantasy, I can't trust a guy with 4 points. I'm sorry. I think I get the big advantage there. As for the other matchup, I think Brown and Bell are going to be too much for Scott to overcome. Alex has been riding Brown and Bell all year. I expect a big game. But on the other hand, I expect a big game out of Alfred Morris. He's been quiet lately. I think he's really going to blow up this week. Alex has a big game coming out of Matt Prater and Jeremy Hill. It looks like it's going to be a Webster Brother final, to be honest with you. But anything can happen. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Pembroke somehow gets an exemption rule and he's in the championship, or Zuck wins by 300, so he gets a, fantasy playoffs. That's the excitement about it. You never know what's going to happen, and I'm really, really excited because I love fantasy. I love the playoffs. I'm really excited to see what's going on, and here's to a championship, folks. Good night. Enjoy your Sunday. Get home safe.